When I first saw Joker, when I saw you, for once in my life, I didn't feel so alone anymore.
How about you, Arthur? Do you still think you're a star?
Showtime.
You're Joker.
Look around! Look at all these people!
The world that once witnessed a lonely man spiraling into madness now returns to a place where reality fractures like glass under pressure. In this new chapter, the streets feel colder, the shadows stretch longer, and the laughter carries a sharper edge. What begins as a whisper inside a fractured mind gradually grows into something louder, stranger, and far more consuming. The story moves through the corridors of isolation and into a realm where two unstable spirits collide, creating a symphony of chaos that feels both haunting and strangely intimate. This time, the focus shifts toward the idea that madness does not always grow in silence. Sometimes it echoes, sometimes it harmonizes, and sometimes it becomes a destructive duet between two people who see the world through cracked mirrors. Inside the walls of the place meant to restrain broken minds, time seems to move with a trembling rhythm. Days blend into nights, and nights dissolve into distant pulses of laughter echoing from rooms, soaked in memories that no longer feel real. The central figure sits with a smile that never fully fades, a smile born not from happiness, but from the comfort of surrendering to the chaos within. Yet the isolation that once fed his unraveling begins to crumble as another presence enters the frame, someone whose gaze carries a spark of recognition, as if she too dances on the edge of the same abyss. Their connection arrives slowly, softly, almost innocently, but underneath it lies something far more explosive. What begins as curiosity gradually becomes dependency, and what begins as comfort slowly mutates into obsession. The world sees them as broken, dangerous, unpredictable, but within their shared glances, there is a language only the two of them understand. Each conversation, each touch, each shared moment becomes another thread, weaving them together. Their energy does not soothe, it ignites. She becomes the melody to his disjointed rhythm, and he becomes the chaos that fuels her fantasies. Together, they form something neither of them fully understands, something terrifying, something hypnotic, something that feels too powerful to remain locked away. The atmosphere around them begins to warp, blending reality with imagination, turning hallways into stages and memories, into performances fueled by emotion rather than truth. As their connection deepens, the world around them begins to twist into surreal fragments. Scenes flicker between harsh fluorescent lights and dazzling bursts of fantasy, where singing shadows glide across walls and laughter blooms like wildfire. The boundaries between what is real and what is imagined dissolve until even they can no longer tell where the mind ends and reality begins. He sees himself not as a man confined, but as a performer waiting for the world to listen. She sees herself not as a fragile presence, but as a star whose voice can bend the emotions of anyone who hears it. Together, they imagine an entire universe where their chaos becomes beauty, where pain turns into performance, and where the world finally notices them not as broken pieces, but as something extraordinary. But every fantasy demands a cost. Their bond, though intoxicating, begins to draw the attention of those who fear what two unstable minds can become when they amplify each other. Whispers circulate among the walls, glances linger with suspicion, and the fragile harmony they have built begins to tremble under the weight of growing paranoia. The more the outside world tries to intervene, the more the pair cling to their shared delusions, convinced that only together can they escape the suffocating grip of confinement. The idea of freedom becomes not just a dream, but a mission, and the mission transforms into something unpredictable and unstoppable. Through moments of music, emotion, and spiraling intensity, Their world becomes a fever dream powered by yearning and rebellion. There are flashes of tenderness wrapped in danger, moments of vulnerability cloaked in hysteria, and scenes where their connection feels almost poetic in its madness. But beneath the beauty of their shared illusions lies an ever-present storm, threatening to consume them both. The central figure, once a solitary flame flickering in the darkness, transforms into something larger, fueled by the presence of someone who reflects both his chaos and his longing. And she, once lost in her own fragile fantasies, becomes emboldened by the idea of finally being seen, not just by him, but by the world that once ignored her. Their bond intensifies until it becomes impossible to separate love from obsession, trust from delusion, or dreams from danger. Together, they step deeper into the hidden corners of their minds, building a kingdom of imagination where they rule as creators of their own reality. But as the outside world tightens its grip, the tension between illusion and truth grows sharper. Every whisper becomes a threat, every interruption feels like an attack, and the pair becomes determined to face the world on their own terms. The journey they embark upon is not just an escape, it is a declaration, a rebellion, a refusal to remain controlled or silenced. The emotional core of their relationship pulses with intensity as they confront the forces trying to break them apart. Their connection becomes both weapon and weakness, capable of inspiring miracles or destruction depending on which emotion rules the moment. One looks at the world with a smirk that hides scars of rejection and pain. The other approaches everything with a heart that burns too brightly, too dangerously. Together, they create a storm that cannot be contained within walls or rules designed to confine the human spirit. Their actions become unpredictable, shaped by impulsive passion rather than logical thought, but that unpredictability is exactly what gives their story its haunting allure. As the world around them shifts, they step into a space where performance and reality merge. Stages bloom in unexpected places, melodies rise from silence, and every emotion becomes amplified, as if the universe itself responds to their inner turmoil. The chaotic beauty of their bond spills outward, painting every moment with heightened intensity. The central figure transforms into an icon of rebellion and uncertainty, while the other becomes a beacon of unstable radiance, illuminating the darkest corners of their shared journey. Their connection becomes a spectacle part tragedy, part fantasy, part fever dream crafted from longing, madness, and the desire to be truly understood. The closer they move toward the climax of their descent, the more the world pushes back. Authority, control, fear, and misunderstanding clash with the unpredictable melody that the pair creates together. The tension between order and chaos erupts in moments where reality fractures, revealing glimpses of who they might have been had the world shown them a gentler hand. But there is no turning back now. Their minds are too intertwined, their fantasies too vivid, their rebellion too powerful to be silenced. Every step they take becomes another mark on the path toward a destiny shaped not by society, but by their emotional unraveling. With each moment, their world spirals into a place where love becomes indistinguishable from destruction. The emotional storm surrounding them grows heavier, carrying both beauty and devastation. Their voices echo through scenes laced with tension. Their steps follow rhythms only they can hear, and their hearts beat in unpredictable patterns that threaten to shatter everything around them. And yet, in the midst of this chaos, there is an undeniable poetry, a fragile, haunting beauty that gives their descent a strangely graceful quality. In the final stretch of their journey, the line between liberation and downfall thins to a thread. Their choices intensify, driven by emotion rather than logic, and each action carries the weight of their shared madness. What they become together is not simply a pair of broken souls. It is a force shaped by trauma, longing, imagination, and uncontrollable passion. Their story closes not with clarity, but with the lingering question of whether madness shared is madness softened or madness multiplied. And as the final echoes of their song fade, the world is left trembling in the aftermath of two souls whose connection burned too brightly, too fiercely, too dangerously to ever be forgotten.